Well, what up, everybody? Hope you are doing extremely well and you're finding your way in this world making progress, as that's what we all should be seeking every day, not perfection. So, guys, I want to bring something to you today. I talked, my last live was about participation trophies and all the damage through that mindset which is done to our society. Now I want to talk to you about when left to our own devices, us, right in here, okay? Because all we are is this human body that carries around this amazing mind. And this amazing mind is the thing that will be the thing that either you go forward or you go backward. Because that term, when left to your own devices, you have a set of beliefs and patterns and blueprints which were handed to you through the first several years of your life. It is the point which you absorb the most information. Your patterns and habits and the things that you do were given to you by those that brought you into the world, or maybe somebody else that watched you. So why am I sharing this with you? Well, I would tell you or encourage you, if you're not aware of the power of the mind, the subconscious versus the conscious parts of the mind, how they function, how they serve or not serve you. And so as I've had to become a practical psychologist for myself, I've had to dig in to understand, why do I do the things that I do? Why is that when a certain thing comes up in my life, for example, conflict, come from a definitely an interesting upbringing, and I'm learning more and more and more that it was an amazing blessing. Little did I know that it was the blessing that it was, because I carried around what they call victim mentality for the longest time. And how that showed up, it looked like two suitcases that I was carrying around that talked all about my past and all the bad things that happened to me, and I wore it like a trophy. And so how did that show up? Well, it showed up in the world of, let's say I was going to work and you cut me off. That created conflict. And if left to my own devices, the way the subconscious works is the patterns and blueprints where there's emotional attachment to an experience. And so anytime conflict would show up because of my upbringing, I was ready to go. I was fully engaged, ready to go, because I come from a fight or flight response to a very tough upbringing in a violent household. And I'm sharing this with you to help you understand that I had to get through and understand that I'm not my story. But why does it keep showing up? Well, it keeps showing up because I have what's called a subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is going to, it's the thing that helps you breathe. It's you got up on the same side of the bed that you did the day before. That's the subconscious. It's got all these patterns and blueprints that are in there that are embedded in us from when we, came into this world. That's called the theta state. It's the absorption, okay? And then it switches to alpha. And there's different frequencies which, our mind works on. Well, guess what? Those first 7 years are so important. And the things that I experienced in my first several years of my life were of some trauma. So for me, that bled into my adult life, that any type of these experiences of conflict, I would lose it. And it didn't matter if it was violent, if it was verbal, it didn't matter, any of it. I knew how to come out, and it was come out swinging. And it could be verbal, physical, whatever. So I share this with you when left to our own devices. So you've got to look at your subconscious mind and go, okay, what are the patterns and habits that I picked up? Where did I pick them up from? And I want to preface this by saying that, you can't be blaming the people that brought you into the world. They did the best that they could with the information they had. Meanwhile, if you come from some trauma, here's the deal. They never fixed their shit. Okay? This is your opportunity to fix your shit and say enough is enough. Where I got this from, guys, because I don't believe any of us have an original thought ever. Everything is, history repeats itself. But I stole this from David Goggins. And how I interpreted David's journey through his challenges with his dad and so on and so forth was he had to go through. And so when he went up to Buffalo to see his dad again, that's when David finally became very clear to him that, you know what? You didn't deal with your shit, but I'm going to deal with the stuff that you gave me. And so in this opportunity known as, modeling, I was able to model David Goggins', experience there and go, you know what? Man, if I looked at it this way, it completely would change the outcome of my life, which it has. Over the last 4 years, guys, I'm going through an amazing journey right now of self-discovery, understanding I'm not my blueprints and patterns. I had the opportunity to change those. And how do I change them? Here's how I change them, guys. I have decided that through recognition of these, I am incapable of changing any outcome of my life. And so the habits and patterns and rituals are going to be the things that determine the outcome. And so how you do one thing is how you do everything, and how you do everything is how you do one thing. So I've gotten very specific in everything that I do. For example, when I'm at the grocery store, I make sure that I put the cart back in one of those cart things. I could leave it on the curb just like everybody else. I don't want to be like everybody else. I'm now doing the exact opposite. That road that less traveled, we all heard that story. Hey, go the road less traveled. Well, guess what? That's where I'm going, the road less traveled. Because through this journey is where the amazing experiences happen. And so as I become more and more disciplined with my daily habits, there's definitely a different outcome in my relationships, in my financial situation, in my business, how I feel about myself, my body. For those of you guys that know, struggled with weight. I was, addicted to food. That was my means to medicate myself. Some people use drugs, some people use alcohol, some people use gambling. I was using food, and a lot of our society is using food. And so what it does is it medicates us. And so that was my thing. And guess what? It showed up 5'8". It showed up in a 270-pound body. Well, guess what? I no longer weigh 270 pounds. I'm in the 190s. And my body is now rewarded because I got my mind right, guys, when left to our own devices. So here's the key for this whole thing. 9% of your thoughts are current. The other 91% are from the past. So where do fear and anger come from? They come from that emotional past. They come from the experience that's embedded into your nervous system. How do we change that? First of all, we've got to recognize the pattern of that popping up. How does it show up? Even guys, me, who's in the process of this, I've been doing this for 4 years in this journey. Let me give you an example. I train this every single day. I empower my mind with great content. I model after people like Tony Robbins, David Goggins, Ed Mylett, Tom Bilyeu. They're my virtual mentors. So guess what? The other day I came home and we've got 2 adult children and a significant other at the house, and came home. The garbage can wasn't put away from the time that the garbage guy came. 2 days. Let's see what else. There was clothes in a laundry basket that were not folded, and also the cat litter box had work had piled up. Let's just put it that way. It affected me and got to my emotions. Well, guess what? Immediately, I could feel my state change that wasn't good. And so what I did was I marched my rear end up to the gym, got on the treadmill for an hour, and resolved that problem. I took that state down because I understand that I can control my state. And you can too, guys. This is all accessible to you. And that's why what I want to share this with you for is I had to become the practical psychologist to reverse this. And now I've put in place these mechanisms that I change a bad habit to a good one. And so right there, I wanted to probably explode. That normally would have ended up in a fight, me yelling at the kids, so on and so forth, Debbie getting mad at me, and then just complete dysfunction in the house. Well, guess what? I learned how to solve that problem by having these little things that I recognize now in place. But here's the thing that's going to tie it all in for you guys. If you're committed to bettering yourself, if you're committed to becoming the best version of yourself every single day, hashtag WTD, win the day. Also, if you guys can do one simple thing, this will change the game for you. It's keeping a simple promise to yourself. It's called the power promise. So if you tell yourself that, hey, I'm going to stand up right now. Stand up. Okay, I'm going to pick up these glasses and put them on. Take the glasses, put them on. Guys, it's a simple set of instructions. The set of instructions will be your guidepost. If you can keep promises to yourself and then begin to stack them, because I just did two simple things, guys. It was that easy. The problem is this: in the United States, when you see somebody that's fat, that's somebody that is, however much they're overweight, that's 200 pounds of broken promises. Okay? If they continue to drink, it's more broken promises. Do drugs, it's broken promises to themselves, guys. If we can keep promises to ourselves and then begin to stack and stack and stack, all of a sudden you go from running on the treadmill for 30 seconds, like I started out, because that was a big deal for me. Now I run for an hour at a time. I've actually signed up for a half marathon. I tell you this, guys, because I know if I'm capable of it, we all have a story. I know that you're capable of it. And my hope for you as a human being is this: you max this thing out. We get one opportunity here that we know of, and I want nothing but the best for you. And if I can do it, like I said, you can do it. Much love to you guys, and hope you enjoy this. And I hope you understand that you are amazing. You haven't even tapped into your potential. So, guys, have an amazing day. Much love to you. See ya.